Okay. In the future, we have no choice but to become aligned. Our choice is to become aligned or to suffer greatly. In my opinion, we have no choice but to become aligned. There might be some people who really, really, really want to hold on to negative realities, but they won't be supported anymore, and it's going to be actually a lot easier to get the support and care that you need. Unicult is one endeavor that is working really hard to create the Unitopian paradise where people can feel supported, where people can feel like if they are stuck in a negative reality, that they can have the assistance, help, support, and resources to get out of that negative reality and to live their highest self. So in the future, there's going to be so many more opportunities to heal and grow and align ourselves with the good of all and with our own personal good and our own personal highest reality. One of the ways that we have to shift energy on this planet is through industry. Unicult is unique in the sense that it is not just a spiritual organization, but it is an industrial one as well. We are here to change systematic understandings of industry and of individuals. So spirituality, when you're truly aligned, it comes into your own body, it comes into your own reality, it comes into your own consciousness, and it radiates out into our world. It radiates out into the higher reality at large of our entire system, our entire structure, and it affects every person, every interpersonal relationship, every structural relationship, every technology, and every invention. Everything is affected. We have to shift our energy from an old world thinking of greed-based systems, of negative cycles of blame, of us versus them, of competition. The idea that competition is the fundamental aspect of life is wrong. It's a presupposition that determines the entire structure become out of alignment. It's a false reality. So when you believe a fundamental aspect of life is competition, which is a false reality, it sets everything else out of alignment, and it gives you a platform from which to build, which is unstable, which is not beneficial, which is not natural. So as we shift our understanding to realize that life, the fundamental aspect of life, is actually collaboration. It's actually the interconnectedness of all people and all things. We can easily shift our reality into a higher way of being and into the most aligned way of being, which is the real truth, which is real reality, which is just an aligned reality with source energy. And what I mean by source energy is truth. The real, real, real truth that comes and radiates through all of us. Earth is a prison planet. And it's that way. We don't have to get into why or how, but we have the power to change it because we're all here together and we're all affected. If you think that you are living on a prison planet, but you're not in a prison, it's almost like if you work at a jail and you're keeping people and you're in the jail and you think, well, I'm not in jail, but I'm working for this prison. You still have to go to jail every day. You still have to be in the same exact circumstances as everybody else. You have to be in like the dingy environment. You have to be like in all the energetic misery. So even if you feel like you're above the prison, the fact that so many people are actually in lives, in patterns, in ideologies that are a prison to them, that are trapping them from understanding their truest potential, that radiates out in the system, and it affects all of us. We all have to live in this mire. So the more you can do to align your own energy and to be strong and to connect and break out of the own prisons of your own mind, that is huge. That's where we start with Unicult, individuals and industry. So that's your individual duty. That's your individual responsibility. But even if you are a perfectly aligned higher being in your body, you're still living in this mire and muck of energetic discord. So that's why Unicult works with our hands, with our voices, with our art, with our ideas, with our conversations, with our energy to change this world, to change the systems in place so that we don't have to live in a cesspool of energy. It's an energetic cesspool. So industry is fundamentally rooted in this idea of competition. Our understanding of money is rooted in an understanding of greed, of us versus them, of competition, of taking what other people don't have, of what they have so that you can have it, and keeping other people down so you can have a higher status. I was talking to Catherine about this ranking system, right? We think, well, I have this fancy job and I have this amount of money and I have this blah, 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 and I was born to this person, and, and there are privileges that we have. And the reason why privilege is a thing, like being a white person, being a cis person, being gay, being straight, if you have like a more accepted way of looking, a more accepted sexuality, all of these things give you privilege in our system because it's a top-down power pyramid of a hierarchical understanding. The hierarchy is false. You have just as much potential as anyone who's wildly successful. You have just as much power and value as anybody else. And this is where we really have to shift our understanding in industry. In industry, we really have to shift our understanding to say, when you are an employee, you are giving your life energy. How much do you think your life energy is worth? How much do you think it's worth? Is it worth $10.95 an hour? Is it worth $100 an hour? Your life energy is worth more than money. The idea that we have removed the understanding of what life energy is, replaced it with this concept of productive labor output. That means associating your life energy only to that which you create in the physical reality, and put an arbitrary number upon it by which for you to build the quality of your life. Honestly, as an alien, I can't even express to you how absurd this entire structure is. The system is so far out of alignment of what is holy and good and natural and right that it's baffling. Reality, real reality. We're talking about real reality, right? That's what we're talking about. When I say that, I mean the truth. I mean the thing that is in alignment. There is an aspect of reality which is in alignment with the highest good for all. If we are truly in alignment with the highest good for all, that means that we can have a business. Let's say, what does a business look like that's in alignment with the highest good of all? It's employees who love what they do, who feel free to show up or not show up, who feel free to create what they want to create for the highest good of the company. The company is in alignment, gets profits, shares them fully with the employees, and creates higher structures that benefit the world. All the customers of the company are benefited truly and not tricked. All the people who are mining and manufacturing the goods aren't slave labor. They're also in alignment. This is a planetary change that needs to happen. When we're talking about an industry that looks holy, we're talking about holy industries. We're talking about aligned industries. I love that. Ooh, aligned industries. Someone starts some businesses called aligned industries, and I'll be your consultant. Aligned industries. Ooh, it just feels so good, doesn't it? Aligned industries are in alignment with the earth itself. They're in alignment with everybody. Everybody is benefited as much as possible. You cannot have something that benefits only a few and doesn't benefit the rest of the people. You can't have an aligned business that poisons the earth. You can't have an aligned business that has slave labor. You can't have an aligned business that tricks people into thinking they need a product when they don't. It is possible to create systems that are in alignment with the good of all. To start, we have to start by valuing employees. We have to start by valuing the understanding that when we give our energy to our jobs, it is our life energy. Our life energy is priceless. It's precious. And the respect that we have for our own life energy needs to be higher. The respect that our employers have for our life energy needs to be higher. And the way that we can move forward is by starting businesses that are in alignment. Our systems are shifting away from greed. We might not see it clearly yet, but it's going to happen. They cannot maintain themselves. Evil destroys itself. So for you to start to envision the future, for you to start to realize your power in the future, like Will was saying, for you to take the responsibility that you have to change the world, you have to start believing that it's possible first. And maybe you're not a leader, maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but there are many things you can do. You can start a business that's aligned. It might be small right now. We have somebody in Unicult who makes dog collars and little dog bandanas, and they're so cute, and it's just pure. It's just pure. And of course, we can't align completely right now because our everything is very corrupt. But what we can do is start making decisions and changes and pushing toward this higher reality. And we can see people like Elon Musk, who's doing aligned work where he's creating electric vehicles, which is something we should have done in the 40s or 50s. And he has a lot of privilege. He has a lot of access to resources. And we can just look at someone like that as an example for someone who is doing something that is moving in great strides toward our utopian future. Is it perfect? No. Nothing on earth is perfect. It's not possible right now. When we make these shifts, we give ourselves more and more space to be in perfect harmony, perfect alignment with divinity. But because we live in this mire, in this muck, it takes a lot of effort to create even small steps towards alignment, and that is the work that we are doing in Unicult. If you are someone who might not want to start a business and you just want to work toward creating a brighter and hopeful future for people who understand that your life energy is absolutely valuable, you can start putting your work toward Unicult. You can start using your creative understanding and your creative abilities to write articles, draw coloring book pages, make songs, make music, whatever it is that you feel comfortable expressing yourself with, there is space for you to do so in Unicult. And when you put your life energy towards something you truly believe in, the more life energy you put toward things you truly believe in, the more you will be creating the utopian reality that you deserve. So industry, how do we shift industry? We start by vibrating at the highest possible vibration we can. What does that mean? That means finding joy. That means following our hearts. That means being kind. That means setting boundaries and standing up for ourselves. That means honoring our energy. That means being present in love. And if we can be present in love all day long, no matter what we do, whether we're serving French fries at a fast food place or we are working at a corporate job at a desk, it doesn't matter where you're working. You can bring the light. You can be the light. You can come into the darkest place and you can be a ray of sunshine, and you can start to shift the energy of your own reality and the people around you. You will have an effect on the company. You will have an effect on the higher ups, even if you don't ever see them. We have so much power to change our realities. We have so much power to change the lives of people around us through very little effort of our own, just through being who we really are, just through vibrating on the highest frequency we can, which is by validating all of our authentic emotions to the point where we are true. When you live in the light of truth, you shift reality into truth. So start with your own energy. Radiate that out. CM Derp's having a hard time today. Thank you, Tasha. I don't know how to help CM Derp. He's really struggling. He's got some interesting ideas, and he's obviously spent a lot of time online. CM Derp says that 5G is convincing everybody that there is no gender. That doesn't explain why Native Americans have two-spirit people. That doesn't explain why transgender people have been around since the dawn of time. That doesn't explain, it doesn't explain anything. So I don't know. It's really weird to try to tell somebody that their identity isn't true. Does anyone have any questions about industry? Does anyone have any questions about aligned industries? Been all weird about money and finances lately. Yeah. And I think, you know, if you're watching my YouTube channel, I'm going to get Find Joy tattoo on my forehead. I love it. Even if it's the 5G, being gay rules. That's a good t-shirt. I would wear that t-shirt. I forgot what I was gonna say. Money. If you've been watching my YouTube, you've seen me doing healings with money. I did a healing with Kuan Yin, I did a healing with Diva Dampe, and Kuan Yin did the shadow work, and then Diva Dampe did the Akashic Records reading. So I'm going to do an astrology chart with my friend Cody, and I'm going to do some other healings with my friend Alexandra. I'm going to just keep doing money healings. So I highly recommend that you watch those money healing things, because there's a lot of information in there that will help shift your understanding of what money is, and of like how we should approach it and how we should heal our own feelings about it so that we can change the larger systems at play. Things feel so far in the future, but I may be thinking on more on macro level and need to dial it back. Yeah, I think that time is weird, and I think sometimes it's like I always think about how I heard some, you know, old hippies talking, and they're like, we thought weed was going to be legal in the 70s, you know, and I think if you were one of those people, you would feel pretty disappointed that, you know, it didn't come to pass, but you see that it was inevitable, right? You see that it did come to pass, and it did take a lot more time than people might have imagined, but it did happen because we have inevitable success, because we're talking about the things like making a plant illegal can't be sustained forever. You can just see that, right? From this perspective, you can just see that plants that grow can't be made illegal. You could just grow it. It's just insanity. And it's also like the right of it's a medicine. It's like such an important medicine to so many people. So when we look at it from that perspective, we can sort of see the inevitability of the transition from this old world thinking of trying to like live in these confines of detrimental structures and transmuting them into the more beneficial reality that is inevitable. So it can get very discouraging. I thought I saw a UFO the other day. It was just a blimp, and it was very low to the ground, and I was like, I'm gonna be abducted, like I'm going home, you know. And I really felt that for a second, and it was a blimp at night, you know. So it was really radical in my brain. Like it really shifted something in my brain to see something that was like a close-up UFO, and like what that would feel like and what that would look like. And I think that, you know, maybe that happened, and I kind of like inside my heart I kind of freaked out, even though I'm one of the most like ready for it people. So when we think about these things, we have to start aligning our energy with the reality that we say we want, because it might actually overwhelm us to the point where we don't know how to handle it. Be patient. It's inevitable. Oh, let's see. Some really interesting comments. Judaism has 6 genders. He's just trying to warn us about 5G. Fair enough. The healing video with Diva is amazing. What's the difference between expressing joy and love while accepting you're vulnerable and not in a good state to others? Boundaries. Do not be ashamed to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is to be all one, to be in alignment, you have to align yourself. You can't be in alignment and only be in service to others. You have to be in service to yourself first. Your human body has so many needs that we need to address. Your energetic body has so many needs that we need to address. Your consciousness has so many needs that we need to address. You have to protect the thing that is closest to you, which is your own consciousness, your own body. You have to set boundaries there first. Everyone on Twitter is making fun of boundaries for some reason. There's people saying, are you in the right headspace to receive some information that might be upsetting? That's a very kind thing to say, especially to someone who has BPD, because it can be very triggering. So when you look at these jokes of people making fun of other people's sensitivity, it makes no sense, because it's actually really beneficial to be kind with each other, to be gentle with each other, and to care about each other's potential triggers, and also to set boundaries for ourselves and others. You can't set boundaries for others, but set boundaries for yourself in whatever reality that is. Being in a place of having strong boundaries is the most loving thing you can do. You have to love yourself first. We may need an interim period, but the ultimate goal is that money be abolished. We need to overcome scarcity with technology, but this will happen. We are in alignment with that vision. I love that vision. I believe in creativity and how to use our creative freedom to deconstruct all of those horrible, detrimental ideas that have shaped our reality, but we have to work together to make that happen. It's true. We have to work together. Working together it increases our power exponentially. We need to work on aligning agriculture. We're supposed to let some land furlough for a season, then put mixed plants together, not monoculture, and fix pesticides. Yes, the most radical thing you can do is to have a garden. And plants need love. I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. Plants need love. When you grow a garden and you give your plants love, the food will be more nutritious. We'll prove that with Uniscience. You need to bless the plants and the fungi, fix monoculture, grow a garden, grow what you can. I know it's winter, but start to research growing a garden in whatever space you have. It might be on your little balcony, it might be in your little yard, whatever it is, what can you do to grow a garden? It seems even well-meant companies can get changed by our corrupt system, especially once they get big. Humans may not be naturally greedy, but power corrupts under capitalism. It can. And I think that that's just because what we're talking about is that the system is so ingrained. And I think that's why when we see people who are minorities, who are in positions of strong power, like, I won't name names, but any women in politics who have been in politics for a really long time, any Black people in politics who have been in politics for a long time, generally speaking, those demographics are more aligned and in tune with the alternative realities of the magic of life, of the unseen, of caring for all. I'm not trying to make generalizations. I'm just saying because of the way of predominant power structures, cis white men are traditionally ones who have experienced the most oppression of their emotional realities. So they've had to kill their emotions, and they've had to kill their empathy, and they've had to do that to survive. So in that way, the white male is the most oppressed in the sense that their emotions are the most repressed and oppressed. And then people who have participated in larger dominant structures have had to match that. That repression of emotional reality. So in some ways they are having to do even more proof that they are hard and uncaring than their white male colleagues. So what I'm saying is oppressed groups oftentimes, because they are having to navigate both the reality of the predominant power structure as well as the reality of their gender or their skin color or their race, they have or even if you have disability or whatever, you're encapsulating more realities than your own, and that automatically tunes you into a multidimensional experience. So people who are minorities are actually connected more with the magic of life, generally speaking. And so that's an important part of why we need to raise them up into the power structures at hand. But we have to make sure that their connection to their emotions isn't compromised. We have to make sure their connection to their empathy isn't compromised. And that should be true for all people, even white males, and anybody who has had to repress their emotions needs to do healing, needs to learn how to express their anger in a safe way, their injustice, and needs to learn how to recognize the real root and result of where those things are coming from, of who has really harmed them. You know, a lot of times there's people who are like men going their own way, where they are blaming women, or even women blaming men. You know, it's like we have to actually look at this power structure of us versus them, and we have to look at the fact that this system is negatively affecting us all, albeit in different ways. So when we talk about power corrupting, what we're really talking about is the dominant power structures being so corrupted that someone can't survive while they ascend the ranks. And that's not going to be the case in the future. We won't see that forever. People are waking up through information. That's like practically its whole own sermon. I just felt that information coming through, so I really wanted to share it. I should have an event in Colorado. I'm going to Colorado in January sometime, maybe February. Maybe we can have a Colorado event. Go bowling or ice skating or something. You can grow microgreens. The Secret Life of Plants is a good book. CM Derp's still having a hard time. He's having a hard time. All right. I will do an event in New York City this year too. In 2020, we'll do an event in New York City. We will do an event. Ooh, we have 27 seconds remaining on Instagram. I didn't know there was a limit. All right, thank you for joining me for Cam Church. This is on YouTube. Go follow it on YouTube. You can rewatch it. Uni bless, everyone. It was so good to have you here for Cam Church. And I hope you enjoyed the sermon. Yes, Las Vegas. We will do an event in Las Vegas. Absolutely. We'll start scheduling these things. Let me know what you guys think we should do in these places, if we have ideas for that. Las Vegas will have activities. If you're in Las Vegas and you don't know Will, reach out to Will. Will is organizing many events in Las Vegas, and I will come there soon. Oh, you know, what happened is that I reached out to a company that makes animatronics in Las Vegas. So, Will, I might be asking you if you know of any places to stay for a short while if I get to work with them. I'm trying to do like an artist residency with them, so I can create a animatronic Unicole. I hope they let me. I really want to. Convince Hotel Mogul to make Unicult Hotel and Resort. Easy. Hi, we would like a Unicult Hotel and Resort. Easy. I know. CM Derp. I pray for CM Derp. I'm still praying for CM Derp. Yeah, we'll just slowly work on that one. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the beautiful calls in.